Hi YouTube friends, it's Victoria from Victoria Makes. Today I'm going to talk about starting your own business. So you've got a business plan, have you? You've got a business idea, you're great at doing something, you want to start a business. I've had 3 businesses, 2 of them failed and the third one was a great success. I learned a lot on the way. A lot of people have had businesses and they fail. Many successful millionaires had several businesses before they've made lots of money. So the main thing is to get as many tips along the way before you start out, get a lot of advice and then hopefully you'll have a successful business too. I started originally when I had young children for my first business. It was a shop. I had family tax credits at the time, had no collateral, no savings, only a month of family tax credit. That business, although it was probably quite a good business, failed because I did not have any savings. The main thing that you need is a loan or savings behind you when you start up. There are so many costs involved in business if you're setting up an actual bricks and mortar shop, so you need funds. Now what do you need your funds for? Well, you need quite a lot of funds actually. What you need your funds for are money to buy, first of all, a shop, a bricks and mortar shop, rent, okay? You need to pay rent on that shop. You'll need equipment for that shop. You'll need stock for your shop. You'll need marketing to advertise that you are open, marketing for signs, marketing for leaflets, any sort of marketing that you're going to have to pay for to tell people who you are, where you are, what you do, when you open, what services you provide, and all about you. Could be newspaper cuttings, advertisements in local magazines, leaflets, paying someone to actually push them through people's doors, things like that. You've got recruitment costs, how to get staff. Say you might have to pay an agency to get your staff. It could be recruitment cost just down to put in like an envelope in a post office window or advertising locally for staff. They all come sometimes with costs. You've got wages to pay for staff to help you run that business. You can't do it all on your own, generally speaking. And you might need cost for training all your staff, and you might need cost for a website and social media. You may need to pay someone to do that for you if you're too busy as well. So these are all costs, and all that money adds up, and you need a lot of money to start before you even walk through the door, because if you've got an empty shop, you need to kit all that shop out to suit your business. So that could be, lots of equipment, electrical and gas, and water insulation and fitting out the shop, the design and decoration of the shop, counters, stuff like that, down to bags, tills. There's so much involved, so you need to estimate how much that's going to be. So you need to acquire money to cover all that. And quite foolishly, I didn't have enough. I was thinking that in the first few weeks I'd get all this income in from the products that I was selling and I would be okay. And it didn't work like that on my first business, because the area in which I set up, it wasn't the correct area for that type of business. So the market research I did was not adequate. I was naive basically. So there's a lot to do in your costs. Now, anybody who's going to give you a loan will want a business plan of you. You'll need cash forecasting. You'll need to see that you have looked at how much that you're going to need to start that business up, how much you're going to need to back that business up for the first year, how much you need off them to sustain that business. But what they will ask you is, how much do you think this is going to cost? How much is it going to cost for staff? How many staff do you need to run that business throughout the week? And therefore, how many hours are they going to work so that you can stay open the hours that you want to? How much will your water, gas, electricity on that business cost? So you've got to find out about that. Now these, at this stage, are often a little bit of guesswork. You can't always really estimate correctly. An estimation is not a correct amount, is it? And you've really got to really try hard to find how much all these things are going to cost you. So I would caution, go above that cost. If you think, for example, that you're going to have 3 members of staff full time, let's go for 3.5 or 4 staff wages, just in case, because sometimes it's better to have more staff doing part-time work than less staff doing full-time work, because we've been through COVID, haven't we? And there's always staff illnesses, and all female members of your staff, for example, they may have to go off on maternity leave, they may have a sickness, or if they've got children, they might not be able to turn up for work. And so the more staff you have part-time, the better, because you can just ring somebody and say, can you come in because Sheila's not arrived, so it's having that backup but that's going to cost you more money in wages. So work out your wages for what you're trying to do. Your stock, you'll need a certain amount of stock to fill that shop to be enticing to your customer. So if it's a product that you're purchasing, you need to estimate how many products you need. You need stock so that you can actually kit out your shop and it looks gorgeous. Now, let's say it's a clothes shop and you've got lots and lots of nice clothes, but your fixtures and fittings could be beautiful, elaborate armoires and rails and nice wall shelves so that you can display your products in. All the decoration of your shop's going to come at a cost. Signage outside, you're going to have to decide the style of your shop, and that will come again into your branding, because that's going to showcase who you are, what your business is, who it's actually going to be aimed at. All these things are what you're going to be judged on, so you're going to get it right. You've got to get it high-end, colourful, whatever your niche is going to be, you're going to have to find out what the brand is. I think the easiest thing to do is just imagine your customer, and that can be really difficult, can't it? You know, when you're just starting out, you're thinking, I don't know who my customer is, but it's really crucial, you know, and it's easy for people who've been in business to say this, but when you haven't been in business, you don't necessarily know who your customer are, but you've got to kind of really get your head into who's going to buy your product and why they're going to buy it and what they're going to get from your product. And if you can get your head into that, you're going to be able to maximise the success of your business, I really feel, because it's not just about putting something in a shop window and it sells. It's really looking into psychology behind why someone is going to walk through your door and choose something out of your shop and buy it. So with marketing, the costs for marketing, that could well be, like I said before, it could be an advertisement in a local paper, in a local editorial, it could be the purchase of leaflets so you can have them delivered, it could be social media charges or somebody to make some publicity on social media for you. It could be lots of different things like staging a table at a craft or food, marketing event, you know, so you can showcase your business. All these things come with charges of how much you need to spend every month on marketing on your business plan, because your bank will want to factor that in as well. Another cost again is rent on the property. If you have got bricks and mortar property, as I said before, that's going to come with a lot of costs. Now, your lease and contract will tell you all your monthly or yearly costs and how long your lease would be valid for. But also there's often costs as well, which it could be your utility bills or extra and maintenance on the property. So always make sure that you know exactly what your charges are before you actually sign away, and also you'll need to estimate that on your business plan. If you've not acquired your premises before you apply for your business loan, then that's going to again be an estimation, isn't it? Try and get an idea of roughly what current businesses are for sale in the area that you're looking at. Maybe add another about 10% on and put that down as an estimate of your running costs for your premises. If you've got a online business, then that will be your extra charge as well, because you'll have a website fee, website designing fee probably, and set up on that any other additional fees for website maintenance that will go on that as well. So sort of record that and your charges. And then staff wages, again, if you've got additional staff, they need paying and they will need a pension and an hourly wage. You need to estimate how many staff you'll need and how long they're going to be working for you and how much that's going to cost as well. So that's going to be a staff cost on your business plan. Recruitment costs. To recruit staff often costs money. You need to probably register with an agency. Sometimes they charge. Also, you might advertise in a local paper or a local shop, local sort of magazine or anything for staff. And they are recruitment costs. Training. If your staff need training at all, that will have to be factored in. Additional cost, you can put that in your business plan as well. Sometimes there's online courses, sometimes there's free courses, sometimes there's grant funded courses. So always check online with your local councils in your local area or online to see if you can actually access some free funding for training, which is always useful. And also that shows your staff that you really care about them, invest in them as well. Hopefully that will encourage loyalty with your staff So what about funding now? So I said you need funding. That's the crucial thing for any business, is funding, making sure you've got enough collateral to start. Obviously, if you've got everything else right, which we'll go over in the next few videos, hopefully in a year or so your business will be successful and keep becoming successful over the next 5 years or more. So how do you get funding? Well, you may have savings, which is great, or you may be deciding to save up now as you prepare to start a business in the future by getting training all the time as you're saving up for your business. Or you'd like to go to a bank and get a business loan. They often are quite high in their rates. You go online, business funding, online checkers, like you'd go for an insurance online search and all the insurance products. You can actually do that with funding for businesses as well online, which is a really, really useful tool. You might want to go to a local building society. Also, what I did is I got funding through a government startup scheme, which is still going now, and I would really, really recommend you look at that, because the interest rate is only around 6%. They do no fee if you pay it back early, which I was able to do, which is really, really good, because then you can clear your debt a lot earlier than the term that you initially signed up for if you want to. I had more trust in using the government scheme than another lender online. At the moment, the best lender online nationwide do £6,000 to about £10 million worth of business funding. They do a term from about 12 months to about 72 months. It's an unsecured loan, but the government still do their startup loans, and I would strongly recommend you look at the website, and that is from £500 up to about £25,000, and at the minute it's 6% their fixed rates, which is really good. There's no early repayment, as I mentioned before, and there's no fees. You can have the term between 1 and 5 years. There's also free support, so I took the free support, and they have business plan template as well, and they give you lots of advice on how to write your template and how to forecast your cash flows and everything, which is really, really good and really useful, because you need that to make sure that that business works. So I would go on their website and see about funding, and hopefully you'll get your funding if you've got a great business plan. So make sure you take in consideration all the factors that I've mentioned, all the fees it's going to cost you, because when you've got your grant or when you've got your loan, then you can progress to the next stage, and then the fun happens. So if you get a grant or a loan behind you, you've got a nice cushion if things don't take off as quickly as you would hope. And you never know what the market's going to do. We're going to talk next video about all the other necessary things that you need for business to succeed in marketing, in planning, in your branding, in the whole structure of your business, what you've got to do, because there's so much involved. But this video has been about money and what to do. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you can go on the website now and check out all the different lenders who will give you information about how much you can afford. You do need to be in England, you need to be a British citizen, you must have lived here for several years, you must be over 18. There's lots of criteria that you need to tick to be able to get a loan, but obviously I can tell you that on each site. Thanks for watching. All the success in your new business venture.